So a few weeks ago, I made a video on this guy, David Diffine. Now he's a doctor out of Blytheville, Arkansas, who's in hot water because he was walking around nude in his practice and in front of the employees, which were also his patients. And more importantly, he essayed one of his patients, and this was back in 2019. Now it didn't come to light until 2024, and of course it made the rounds on social media and everything everywhere. But as usual, as it goes, people move on, find different things to talk about. I didn't want this to, fall through the cracks or get swept under the rug, so I kept an eye out.
The Arkansas State Medical Board granted a hearing continuance for a doctor accused of performing sexual acts while staff watched. The original hearing for Dr. David Diffine was set for this Friday. The Arkansas State Medical Board suspended Diffine's medical license on October 16th following an investigation into these videos sent to the board in July. The videos showed Diffine walking around the receptionist's office naked in front of 3 women. It then shows him performing a sexual act directly on one of the women. That emergency suspension remains in effect. Danielle McNeil of the Arkansas Department of Health said no new date for Diffine's hearing has been set.
Pretty much at this point in time, nothing's really happened. Now, me personally, I think somebody is, watching out for him somewhere, somehow, because there's no way that you get caught on tape essaying somebody, showering them with your reproductive material, and then you just get to walk away scot-free. And on top of that, the hearing, it's not even a criminal hearing. It's just whether or not they're going to take away his license in Arkansas. He has a license in 2 other states. And once again, there's no record of the police going to talk to him, any criminal charges, nothing. The only thing that's happened, aside from him getting a continuance, is that somebody filed a civil lawsuit against him.
In other breaking news, a Northeast Arkansas doctor whose license is suspended by the Arkansas State Medical Board now faces a civil lawsuit. The lawsuit filed yesterday by Carol Ballard claims that she was a patient of Dr. David Diffine at Diffine Family Practice, PLLC, in Greene County. In her lawsuit, Ballard claims that Diffine engaged in sexual misconduct during medical exams. The lawsuit also lists the clinic as the defendant and claims that staff failed to take appropriate action to prevent harm to patients. Diffine's license was suspended in October by the Arkansas State Medical Board. An investigation was launched after a complaint sent the medical board videos of Diffine walking around his Blytheville practice in the nude. You can read more on that investigation by going to this story on kaita.com.
Now, in addition to the video, there's an article that goes a little bit more in depth. I'm just going to go through it really quick. And this is out of Greene County. A woman filed a civil lawsuit against a doctor following allegations that he engaged in sexual contact and relations with a patient. Now, this is, I guess, is what they were talking about earlier this year. And the accuser has been named Carol Ballard, filed a lawsuit on December 17th, accusing Diffine of assaulting her while regularly visiting him at Diffine Family Practice in Greene County. It alleges that within the past 18 months, Ballard had been getting medical care from Diffine and repeatedly engaged in acts during the examinations. This included exposing himself to her, making lewd remarks, and engaging in improper physical contact. And I'm assuming all that happened while he was walking in and around his practice in the nude. Now, her lawyer says his actions were intentional, deliberate, and served no legitimate medical purpose. And instead, they were designed to gratify his own sexual desires, abuse his position of trust, and humiliate the plaintiff. Now, if you watch my last video, this is stuff that they've, gone over before. He was using his position as a doctor to, I guess, have power over the women and the patients in his practice. It also says that that Ballard was in a uniquely vulnerable position after putting her trust in Diffine, relying on his examinations that were medically necessary. And again, this is why I say, if you're in a position of trust where you have to swear an oath and where people rely on you on their general health and well-being, and a lot of times their lives, you should be put under the jail. Like, no hearing, no suspending of the license, just revoke it under the jail. Then it goes on to say, as a direct and proximate result of these acts, the plaintiff, Ballard, has suffered severe emotional distress, anguish, anxiety, humiliation, loss of sleep, vomiting, physical manifestations of stress, distrust of medical professionals, and other damages that no reasonable person should be expected to endure. It also states that the clinic should have known such information would have led to an investigation into Diffine's actions, and it failed to exercise reasonable reasonable care in hiring, supervising, retaining, and monitoring Dr. Diffine, which McGinnis, the lawyer, claims enabled his misconduct. And this is what I was talking about in my last video. There's more to it. And it's probably more than just this one woman or just what was seen on video. But for some reason, it's taking forever for these things to finally come to light. You're telling me that for the past 18 months, he was doing this crap and nobody knew anything. Nobody was going to say anything. Even when they put out the video of what he did with the other women, which I get, they probably weren't employed there still, but somebody knew something. And for some reason, it seems like this stuff keeps getting swept under the rug, especially when he has you on tape doing this crap and you get a continuance. And on to top it all off, there hasn't been a date yet set for the continuance. And that was at the beginning of the month. And we're almost at the new year. How does that happen? Also says Dr. Diffine's conduct was extreme and outrageous, going beyond all possible bounds of decency and utterly intolerable in a civilized community, especially in light of the physician-patient relationship. The suit states that Ballard is seeking compensatory and punitive damages from Dr. Diffine and the Diffine family practice to be determined later. Then it goes on, to restate the information that we knew before about his license getting suspended. And at the very end it's like a friggin' 2-sentence mention that his hearing was set for December 6th, but the medical board granted him a continuance of disciplinary hearing. And I don't know what kind of freaky stuff they got going on in Arkansas, but somebody needs to put a stop to it. And then there's like a little more, the K8 news station, they went out to his house. They tried to contact him by phone. Of course, he's not speaking to anybody. They said there was a car there that may or may not have been him, but I've asked the same question and I will continue to ask the same question. How does something like that, especially gaining literal national coverage across multiple news stations, multiple social medias, how does he not get arrested? How have the police not even questioned him or put out a statement about him? But I'm going to check back every now and again, see if they ever set a date or to see what actually happens. Thank you guys for the views. Oh, also, I am streaming pretty regularly, so tune in. Once again, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.